Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're embarking on a really fascinating journey. We're diving into a foundational text, one that's influenced just countless people. The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale.
Right. And our mission really with this deep dive is to pull out the practical techniques and, some surprising insights from this material.
Yeah.
Now, it's important to understand right up front, Peale grounds these techniques very deeply in Christian faith. He presents them as a spiritual system for personal transformation.
Mm-hmm.
So while we're exploring his specific framework, the ideas in this, very influential book, we'll be focusing on the demonstrable principles he outlines.
That's a really crucial distinction, I think. Peale himself calls it applied Christianity, even a scientific system for successful living.
He does.
So what we're doing here is unpacking his methods to rise above obstacles, maybe control your circumstances, and, well, as he claims, discover this amazing power within you. Let's just get right into it.
Okay. So Peale opens with a really bold assertion.
Mm.
You do not need to be defeated by anything. Simple as that.
Wow.
Yeah, the book basically sets out to demonstrate that peace of mind, improved health, a never-ceasing flow of energy, that these things are attainable, and they lead to a life full of joy and satisfaction.
I find that immediately compelling. It's sort of an invitation to challenge our own assumptions, isn't it?
Definitely.
And the first major hurdle he tackles is the inferiority complex. He calls it a malady, something that holds countless people back.
Right, a malady. And he insists it can be overcome. He shares this vivid anecdote, doesn't he?
Yeah.
About a businessman just tormented by self-doubt before a critical deal, convinced he was, quote, sunk.
Yeah, totally sunk.
And what's striking is the the direct formula for confidence Peale offers right then and there.
Okay.
The businessman was told to repeat an affirmation. I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. Philippians 4.13, multiple times daily.
So, an immediate practical step.
Exactly. Rooted in spiritual affirmation. Peale believed it could make a profound difference even before you dig into the deeper psychological roots.
Right. And speaking of those roots, those origins, Peale does emphasize understanding where these feelings come from. Often childhood, he says.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he gives that relatable example of comparing grades with siblings. Getting C's in school makes you think you'll only get C's in life.
Even though, ironically.
Right. Some C students go on to get real A's in life. He argues the biggest secret is just filling your mind with faith, especially faith in God, to build sound self-confidence.
Which leads right into how ideas sort of dominate our thinking.
Mm.
Peale introduces this technique of repetitive suggestion, basically, re-educating the mind with confidence concepts.
It's about deliberately choosing what you let in, mentally.
Precisely.
And this is where it really comes alive for me, Thinking about that traveling salesman, he was struggling. His negative thoughts were tanking his sales.
Yeah, fear and defeat kind of thinking.
Totally. So he started clipping Bible verses like, if ye have faith, nothing shall be impossible unto you, and if God be for us, who can be against us? Clip them right to his dashboard.
Just constantly seeing them.
Yeah, and by constantly seeing and internalizing them, he literally changed his thought patterns from fear to faith and courage. And guess what?
Sales went up.
Sales went up.
It perfectly illustrates Peale's view of this powerful mind-body connection. Fearful thoughts, he suggests, can actually create the conditions you dread.
Wow.
While confident thoughts, often rooted in faith for him, have the power to modify or even, overcome difficult external facts.
Mm.
It points to a deep psychological truth, really, how our internal state shapes our reality.
And that connects right to Dr. Carl Menninger's quote, Peale highlights, attitudes are more important than facts.
Such a powerful point, because if you connect that to the bigger picture, it means any hard fact we face is actually less important than our attitude toward it.
Hmm.
The story of the man who felt he'd lost everything. Perfect illustration. Utterly defeated.
Until someone prompted him.
Exactly. Prompted him to list his remaining assets.
Yeah.
Wife, kids, friends, integrity, health, country, faith. Seeing that list just completely shifted his mental attitude, allowed him to rebuild.
It's amazing. And some people, like that executive with the vacuum cleaner method, they actively apply this.
Right, sucking out the dust.
Yeah. Asking questions to suck the dust, the negative attitudes out of his associates' minds, then quietly suggesting positive ideas until they saw the facts differently.
It's about consciously shaping perception, not just for yourself, but, helping others too.
So to help build this self-confidence, that first chapter lays out 10 practical rules: visualizing success, never letting that picture fade, That's a big one.
It is. And also, whenever a negative thought about your abilities pops up, you deliberately voice a positive one, like cancel it out immediately.
He also says, don't inflate obstacles in your mind. Consciously shrink them down, strip the fear away.
And I like this one. Don't be awestruck by other people or try to copy them, because most folks, even if they look confident, have their own self-doubts.
That's so true. And there's repeating affirmations like, if God be for us, who can be against us? 10 times daily.
And seeking a competent counselor to understand the roots of self-doubt, often from childhood. Plus, repeating, I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me, 10 times daily as well.
And making a true estimate of your ability then, bumping it up by 10%. It's a wholesome self-respect.
I like that, bumping it up. Finally, he stresses putting yourself in God's hands, believing you're receiving power, like actively feeling it flow in.
And just constantly reminding yourself that through faith, God is with you. Nothing can defeat you. Believing you receive power from him now.
Okay, so moving on to cultivating a peaceful mind. Peale draws this vivid contrast, doesn't he? Going to bed with an ear full of trouble versus a mind full of peace.
Yeah, it really highlights that conscious choice we have, especially at the end of the day.
How simple shifts can make such a difference. That farmer's son's routine.
Oh, right. He went back to nightly Bible reading the 23rd Psalm specifically in prayer, and it led to better sleep, just overall improvement. He chose peace before bed.
Instead of letting worries fester, Peale states that a life of inner peace is actually easier than a life of strain, which sounds maybe counterintuitive.
A little, yeah.
But he's clear. It absolutely requires revamping your thinking. The effort, he says, is in changing those ingrained thought patterns.
Like that man who prayed with Peale over the phone. He just poured out all the hate, frustration, failure.
And found immediate internal peace. It really underscores actively releasing that negativity to make space for peace.
There's even a physician in the book who gives Romans 12.2, be you transformed by the renewing of your mind, like it's a prescription.
Yeah, for health and well-being. Shows Peale's perspective on the mental side of physical health.
Which brings us to this idea of mind emptying and refilling. The book stresses practicing mental catharsis, emptying out fears, hates, regrets, guilt at least twice a day.
Like that S.S. Lurline suggestion. Imaginatively dropping worries overboard, watching them disappear in the wake.
Cool image.
But the crucial follow-up is immediately refilling that empty mind with creative, healthy thoughts.
Right, so the old unhappy thoughts find the place occupied.
Exactly. It resonates with modern cognitive stuff, actually.
And words themselves. Peale talks about suggestive articulation, just repeating peaceful words like tranquility, serenity, slowly.
He suggests just saying them can have a calming effect. And that anecdote about the man carrying cards with peaceful quotes, memorizing them, he called it lubricating his mind with peace.
Lubricating the mind. I like that.
The therapeutic value of the Bible, from Peale's viewpoint, is also key here. That nervous salesman taking nerve medicine
Finds peace and control just by carrying and reading a Bible daily, especially the 23rd Psalm. It's a strong testament to the power Peale saw in Scripture.
And finally, for inner peace, overcoming guilt. Peale calls it a self-punishment mechanism. His advice is to yield attention to what he terms the healing therapy of Christ for release.
Okay, let's shift to that. Generating constant energy and solving problems. The core idea here, according to Peale, is how we think directly impacts how we feel physically.
Right. And religion, for him, functions as thought discipline. Supplying faith increases energy.
Like the baseball pitcher, Frank Hiller. In a boiling hot game, energy totally flagging.
And he restores it just by repeating that verse from Isaiah, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. He literally felt strength return, attributed it directly to that spiritual practice.
Wow.
Peale emphasizes God as the ultimate source, quoting Isaiah, he giveth power to the faint and acts, in him we live and move and have our being.
He also points out the major energy leaks, doesn't he? Fear, resentment, inner conflicts, obsessions.
Yeah, and he specifically notes that hate blocks energy. The story of the man with lethargy and self-pity, his power flow was restored by an act of faith and prayer. It shows how Peale saw these as spiritual blockages needing spiritual solutions.
He also talks about feeling stale from pressure, monotony, endless responsibilities.
And the solution offered is finding a normal tempo by attuning to what he calls God's rhythm. Sounds pretty appealing in our hectic world.
Doesn't it?
What's fascinating is how Peale presents prayer, as a practical, almost scientific tool. Remember the business executive facing a crisis.
Yeah, learned prayer techniques and found that every problem can be solved and solved right if you pray. That's a very pragmatic view of faith.
It is. He even mentions physiotherapists and health club operators using prayer for inner harmony, dealing with spiritual flabbiness, as one called it.
Spiritual flabbiness. Did he really have that sign? APR, PBW, PRA?
Apparently so. Affirmative prayers release powers by which positive results are accomplished. Really showcases Peale's approach. And this isn't just for immediate problems. Peale suggests prayer can, like normalize aging, keep the spirit fresh, provide guidance.
And for complex challenges, he talks about scientific prayer using specific Bible formulas, like the industrialists.
Exactly. Using Matthew 18 verses where 2 or 3 are gathered together and if 2 of you shall agree on earth to solve complex business problems, treating it like a structured process.
Which leads us to that Prayerize, Picturize, Actualize formula. I think that one's particularly powerful.
It is. Step 1, Prayerize. Daily creative prayer, talking problems over, simply with God as a partner.
Okay. Then Picturize. Creating a mental picture of the desired outcome as if it's already happening, holding it firmly in your mind.
And third, Actualize. The idea is that this picture comes true when it's prayerized, believed, and acted upon.
The anecdote about the woman saving her marriage using Picturize.
It's poignant, yeah. Visualizing restoration, seeing herself as capable, helped her respond calmly to the divorce request. And eventually, reconciliation happened. It shows how Peale saw visualization and faith working together.
He also suggests prayer works like vibrations. Sending out love and support awakens responses in the universe.
Yeah, like praying for strangers on a train. Just sending out affirmative prayers for people you glimpse and feeling joy and God's power in return. It's an interesting concept.
Extends to creative ideas too, right? Executives praying before brainstorming sessions.
10 minutes of silent prayer to release insights. Even falling asleep praying, like Grove Patterson did, is suggested by Peale to infuse the subconscious with positivity.
Okay, so what does all this mean for creating your own happiness? Peale says happiness is basically a habit.
Cultivated by practicing happy thinking, you literally eject unhappy thoughts and substitute happy ones.
He suggests a morning ritual. Before you even get up, drop happy thoughts into your mind. Visualize positive stuff happening.
And use an affirmation like Psalm 118.24, "This is the day which the Lord hath made. I will rejoice and be glad in it." Saying it aloud sets a positive tone.
The power of goodwill, too. Sincere compassion, tenderness that creates happiness. Like Ralston Young, Redcap 42 at Grand Central.
Oh, the red cap, spreading love, building people up, complimenting the crying woman's hat. Peale notes that doing that brought him happiness too.
It's reciprocal.
Yeah. And H.C. Mattern's Way to Happiness card sums it up well. Keep your heart free from hate, mind from worry, live simply, expect little, give much, all those things. Try this for a week and you will be surprised. It's a real challenge to embody that daily.
It is. Another powerful technique was the Thought Conditioner booklet. This man, totally overwhelmed by gloom,
Uses this pocket-sized booklet, 40 health and happiness-producing thoughts, memorizes one each day.
and the result, Peale says, was a burst of happiness. Shows how systematically replacing negative patterns can really shift things.
Now, stopping fuming and fretting. Peale offers some surprising methods here, like the doctor's cemetery prescription for the overworked executive.
Oh man, that one's unforgettable. Spend half a day in a cemetery, meditating on tombstones, repeating that psalm about 1,000 years being like yesterday, just to gain perspective and delegate.
It's certainly memorable. It's all about gaining perspective to slow down. Peale also suggests literally talking to your muscles and nerves, saying, "Fret not thyself," practicing feeling peace in your body.
The author himself recounts stopping mid-rush one day, just stopping, sitting down, reading Psalm 121, regaining composure, and he says it led to a better outcome.
It's about taking control back. The book also offers scriptural antidotes. Matthew 11.28, "Come unto me, all ye that labor." John 14.27, "Peace I leave with you." Isaiah 26.3, "That will keep him in perfect peace."
And there's that detailed 10-point worry-breaking formula. Starts with seeing worry as a bad habit you can change with God's help.
Right. Then practice faith instead. Actively affirm, "I believe," 3 times every morning. Pray, placing your day, your life, your loved ones, your work, all in God's hands.
Talk positively about everything. And importantly, don't participate in worry conversations. Inject faith instead.
Yeah, and saturate your mind with Bible passages on faith, hope, happiness. Mark 11.22-24 is highlighted. Memorize them. Cultivate friendships with positive, hopeful people.
Help others cure their worry habit, too. And finally, conceive of living in partnership with Jesus Christ, affirming, He is with me now.
Okay, let's talk about expecting the best and getting it. Peale asserts this magic of believing. Expect the worst, you get the worst. Expect the best, you get the best.
He explains it as a law of attraction or repulsion, right? Expecting the best releases a magnetic force.
Draws good things to you. While expecting the worst releases repulsion. The biblical foundation for him is verses like Mark 9.23, if thou canst believe, all things are possible, and Matthew 9.29, according to your faith, be it unto you.
But he stresses specificity in faith, not tackling the whole mountain range of problems.
No, say to this mountain. Yeah. Address one difficulty at a time. That anecdote about the businessman's painful toe, praying specifically, like God was the manufacturer, and getting a perfect healing, that really drives it home for Peale.
He also advises ditching those little negatives, like, I'm afraid I'll be late, or I don't think I can do that.
Yeah. Deliberately speak positive words about everything, like his analogy. A clean engine always delivers power. Same applies to a mind free of negatives.
And when you're in the rough golf course or life's problems, the difficulty is often mental, he says.
Right. Keep your eyes fixed on the source of power, affirm strength, believe in victory. That salesman's prayer is inspiring. I believe I am always divinely guided. I believe God will always make a way.
Which ties into overcoming the will to fail, changing your mental slant from I can't to I can do all things through Christ. This applies to solving personal problems too, like Bill and Mary.
Oh yeah, Bill bypassed for the presidency.
Yeah.
Mary's bitter. But they learned to put it in God's hands. Act cooperatively.
And 2 years later, Bill gets the job. Peale calls it spiritually scientific principles at work.
He suggests actually conceiving of God as a real partner. In business, in life. Affect a merger with God, he says. Claims it leads to more good, God-guided ideas.
He also mentions these dormant emergency powers of the human brain, tapped through working faith, not just in crisis.
And that concept of mustard seed faith from Matthew 17.12. Peale presents it as factual, literal. If you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, nothing shall be impossible.
The story of Maurice and Mary Alice Flint, totally overwhelmed, resentful.
And they transform their lives by adopting this faith and clearing out the resentment. It's presented as a powerful testament.
For anyone facing problems, Peale gives those 10 practical steps. Believe a solution exists. Keep calm, tension blocks thinking.
Right. Don't force answers. Relax your mind for clarity. Assemble facts impartially. List them on paper even for objectivity.
Pray for illumination. Seek God's guidance, Psalm 73. Thou wilt guide me by thy counsel. Trust your intuition.
Go to church. Let your subconscious work during worship. That's an interesting one. And finally, trust the answer that emerges after doing all this.
Okay, let's move to health, healing, and remaking your life. Peale talks about psychosomatic medicine. But his version is prayer, faith, dynamic spiritual thinking, suggesting illness often stems from improper mental states.
Yeah, and it's important to remember this was 1952. Modern medicine definitely acknowledges the mind-body connection, but Peale's interpretation here leans very heavily on spiritual discipline as the primary fix.
The sales manager whose vitality just plummeted.
Right, Peale attributes it to accumulated fear, anxiety, tension, resentment, guilt from lies he'd told. Mind emptying and prayer restored him. It underscores Peale's view. Negative emotions like anger, resentment, guilt can literally cause ill health.
Physical symptoms, that sinking feeling.
And he offers practical antidotes to anger. Cool the emotion, relax muscles, whisper, slump down, say, don't be a fool. Picture Jesus. Use the first 10 words of the Lord's Prayer.
List minor irritations to dry up the source. Make each one an object of prayer. Ask yourself, is this really worth what it's doing to me emotionally?
Straighten out hurt feelings quickly with spiritual iodine, prayer of love or forgiveness, and grievance drainage, pouring out worries to someone trusted.
So what about remaking your whole life? Peale quotes William James. Human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. As you think, so you shall be. That's foundational.
Totally. The story of the executive whose life was a terrible mess due to wrong thinking, remade by one sentence from a battered Bible on his desk, "The Lord is the strength of my life."
Peale uses that to really hammer home. Thoughts are things. They have dynamic power. Positive thoughts attract positive results. Negative attract negative.
And that visualize, prayerize, actualize process comes back. Hold the mental picture, pray, work at it, believe it can happen. Like Henry J. Kaiser seeing no mud after the flood, just focusing on the clear sky and the sun that would dry it. Optimistic visualization in action.
To help change mental attitudes, he gives 7 steps. For 24 hours, speak hopefully about everything. Then, keep it up for a week, redefining realistic as positive.
Feed your mind nourishing thoughts. Underscore Bible passages on faith, especially Mark 11.22-24. Commit them to memory. Cultivate friendships with positive thinkers.
Counter negative attitudes with positive opinions, don't argue, and pray a lot, always with thanksgiving, believing God gives great things.
The ultimate secret, Peale says, is simply drawing upon that higher power. He shares his own experience overcoming overstrain by learning to relax and depend on God's support, citing Isaiah 40 again.
They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength.
Exactly. And he reiterates that basic law. According to your faith, be it unto you. The intensity of faith correlates directly with the power received.
The anecdote about the former editor with heart attacks. Despite his sophistication, he and his wife found recovery and hope by saturating their minds with the New Testament and Psalms, becoming gloriously childlike in their trust, as Peale puts it.
He also cites Alcoholics Anonymous principles. Recognizing your own powerlessness is the first step to getting help from the higher power.
Illustrated by Ed, the alcoholic about to commit murder, influenced by the strange light on a recovered alcoholic's face, leading him to prayer and recovery through prayer and candy.
And Charles, the alcoholic finding the church closed, dropping his business card through the mail slot. Peale sees that as an act of faith coinciding with his healing. Sometimes it's just that simple act of turning.
For sickness and healing specifically, Peale offers 8 suggestions. Send for both minister and doctor. Pray for the doctor. Affirm God is healing you now. Accept God's will.
Stop worrying. Affirm health. Practice thinking of Jesus. Read healing scriptures, 23rd Psalm, John 14, and pray once with, please, then just thank God for his goodness. Because joy itself, Peale says, has healing power.
Captain Eddie Rickenbacker's 3-point formula for relaxation and vitality is in there too. Collapse physically, let every muscle go.
Drain the mind regularly. Irritation, resentment, disappointment, get rid of it.
And third, think spiritually. Turn your mind to God regularly. Lift up your eyes unto the hills. Stay tuned to God's harmony.
Even small moments count, Peale argues. Dr. Berkovitz using traffic jams to relax. Roger Babson and Dale Carnegie visiting quiet churches. Using those moments to draw on power.
And finally, that powerful idea. Take on the unseen partner. Taking God as a partner in your work lightens the load, provides guidance, provides ideas. Because, Peale says, he knows more about your job than you do.
You know, what really stands out after digging into these insights from the power of positive thinking is Peale's constant theme. Our inner world profoundly shapes our outer reality.
Yeah, it really does.
And the principles he outlines, they aren't just abstract ideas. He presents them as practical, demonstrable techniques for turning difficulties into victories. Always viewed, of course, through his specific faith-based lens.
Absolutely. Whether it's about overcoming self-doubt or finding peace, boosting energy, solving stubborn problems, the core message, as Peale lays it out, is crystal clear. Your mind, when guided by faith in these specific practices, holds this astonishing, untapped power.
This deep dive into Peale's work really reminds us that faith power works wonders, as he puts it, but only when it's applied with intention and persistence. It challenges us not just to understand these concepts intellectually,
Right.
but to actually consider actively integrating them into our daily lives.
So here's something to think about. If just changing your mental attitude and applying specific spiritual techniques like the ones Peale outlines could potentially lead to such profound improvements in your health, your happiness, your success, what is one mountain in your life that you might choose to specifically address with a renewed focus and intention this week?